Hello and welcome to Eastbourne Council Watch. Well, we're one of those councils who will be in the first tranche to experiment with Labour's Devolution bill, which also means that we don't get to vote in council elections this May. So I thought I'd go along to a council meeting and make my and others' feelings known and to put it on the record, so to speak. Unfortunately, it was only a cabinet meeting, which meant that it was Lib Dems and not the Tories who were the ones to vote against the May elections. But I didn't know if I'd get another chance to speak in full council, so I went for it anyway. There was one Tory councillor in the public gallery, so maybe word will get back. And there's a possibility that I can speak in a full council meeting where they will be discussing devolution again, which will give me time to write a more considered speech. Having written yesterday's speech, I then put on UK Column to listen before I went off to the meeting, and up popped Sandy Adams with loads of information about devolution. So that was the cue for me to rush off and rewrite my speech in about half an hour. However, it got a good reception, and do listen to what the council member for Net Zero had to say. Thank you.
Good evening. Well, at least I won't be castigating you for your lack of scientific knowledge or curiosity regarding climate change, because of course I'm here to talk about devolution and the loss of our right to vote in May. I am well aware that the Lib Dems did not vote for this measure, so perhaps I'm preaching to the choir. But at least it will be on record that the public, while traditionally not that interested in voting in local elections, are affronted by this assault on local democracy. And I would just like to thank Councillor Holt for standing up for the remaining dregs of our democracy at the County Council meeting in January. Over the last 4 years, actually people have become more interested in what their councillors get up to. And it's likely that more people would have voted in May than previously, and probably not for the status quo. We have more people interested in standing as independents or for a certain other party that is doing rather well in the polls. So perhaps this is part of the problem. There is plenty to say about the loss of local democracy this May, but I want to focus as much on devolution itself. This is part of a broader plan to appoint metro mayors, or mayors for global climate and energy, an initiative from the Global Covenant of Mayors for Climate and Energy. This goes back to 1992, when ICLEI was tasked with bringing Agenda 21 from global to local. If we look at a metro mayor like Sadiq Khan, for example, we see that the mayors will have carte blanche on expansion of ULEZ, LTNs, increased surveillance, enforced retrofitting of homes, and geofencing, as in Oxford. Devolution is sold to us as empowerment, but it centralises power under mayors with strict net zero policies. Green energy jobs may be created, but at the moment these jobs are subsidised to the tune of £250,000 per year. National grid expansion to meet green energy demands will cost £112 billion by 2035, and bills will inevitably go up. Miliband's green energy plan will spend £290 billion by 2030. This makes no economic sense. It's not about the environment, but about control. It's a Trojan horse to roll out the smart city agenda, presented as a positive shift towards sustainability and democracy, but there will be even more of a reduction in the democratic process. The economic risks are huge. Will these policies truly benefit our local communities, or will they impose top-down control? It's shocking, but maybe not surprising, that the Conservatives on the County Council decided to aid and abet Labour in this, the biggest change in local government in at least 50 years. One stood up to say that she had ignored the many templates she had received, urging her to vote against the scheme. If this is the way politics is going, then God help us.
Mrs. Stallard, I agree with your comments, and thank you for saying nice things about me at January's meeting at East Sussex. It's a bit weird being a dual hatter sometimes, but I did feel it was right to allow the elections to take place, particularly as the government stated that you could still be a priority authority and have elections, and I didn't think that was inappropriate, and I know that view was shared by districts and boroughs.
I just want to say a few words in support of Serena and her group. Wholeheartedly agree with everything that you said. I think it's disgusting that we've been denied our democratic right to be able to vote who we want to sort of oversee the devolution going forward. And we've missed out on our elections in May. I think that the council members there are now, to paraphrase our local MP, are squatting in county council, and we should have been able to choose who we wanted to have oversee this. The main reason I wanted to talk about this was because you mentioned Oxford and the fact that Oxford had gone ahead and so made loads of changes up there using the strong mayor that they have up there. We went up there, we spent some time with them, and we were talking to a number of the residents and things, and what we found was that when the councillors and the members and the officers took the residents with them, so they did lots of consultation, they spoke to them, asked them what they wanted, then it all worked really well. And talking to the residents up there when they came out onto the streets, because we were all wandering around in high vises, they said, well, what are you doing in our area? And so we explained to them, and they said, oh no, it's working really well. We like the low traffic zones, we like the more cycling in the town. The decarbonation is definitely something which should be happening. We need to be able to reduce the amount of carbon going into the air. What happened though was at the end they had a bit of money left over, and they had to spend it quickly. They didn't communicate properly with that area that they were working with, and everybody was up in arms about it. And that's the bit that has spoilt the really good work that Oxford has been doing sort of going forward. So from that we've learnt our lesson, and if we get the opportunity as members sort of going forward into the devolution to make these changes, we will certainly be taking the residents with us. We won't be forcing anything on you around any of the green issues. It's important that we make these changes, but it's important that we make these changes with the blessing of the local constituents. Thank you.